Jobs are being won or lost, and futures are decided upon. It can only mean one thing: the NFL playoffs are just around the corner. With 3 weeks of the 2023 regular season remaining, just 4 of the 14 playoff spots across the 2 conferences have been sewn up, meaning a lot of teams are vying for a ticket to the postseason. Here's all the permutations you need to know about American Football Conference, AFC. The Baltimore Ravens are the only team in the AFC to have already wrapped up their playoff spot after Week 15. Following their 23-7 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Ravens are in pole position to earn the number 1 seed in the conference with a record of 11-3 and ensure home field advantage throughout the playoffs as a result. Below them, everything is still up for grabs, with quarterback injuries adding an element of jeopardy to the AFC race. The Miami Dolphins sit second in the conference at 10-4 and first in the AFC East Division. The team would claim a spot in the postseason with a victory in Week 16 against the Dallas Cowboys. The Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions, sit third in the AFC with a 9-5 record, reflecting a thoroughly frustrating season. The defense has looked elite, but offensive miscues and a lack of explosiveness have blighted the team's progress this year. Even so, in an underwhelming AFC West, the Chiefs can clinch the division title with a Week 16 victory and book their spot in the playoffs as a result. However, Kansas City will need a major slip-up from both Baltimore and Miami if it has any hopes of the number 1 seed. The Jaguars, the Browns, the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts occupy the final 4 remaining spots in the bracket, with the Houston Texans, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals on the outside. Cleveland and Indianapolis, as well as Cincinnati, who now sits outside the playoff spots, have all battled season-ending injuries to their starting quarterbacks. The Browns are on their 4th quarterback of the year but will have to keep winning to book a spot in a competitive AFC. Jacksonville has lost 3 straight games to allow the Colts, manned by backup quarterback Gardner Minshew, to race back into contention, but the Jaguars hold the tiebreaker over their AFC South rivals after beating them twice this season already. As long as they match in these results for the rest of the season, the Jaguars will book their spot in the playoffs. The Browns have undergone a late-season surge under Joe Flacco's leadership and, although the AFC North Division title looks out of reach thanks to Baltimore's continued excellence, they remain well in with a shot of reaching the playoffs, with a 1-game lead over most of their AFC competitors. 2 wins from the final remaining 3 weeks should see the Browns into the postseason. The Bengals and the Colts both face a stiff task with backups leading the way to remain in the playoff hunt, particularly with the Texans and the Bills lurking, ready to pounce on any mistake. And the Bengals slipped up against the Steelers, succumbing to a 34-11 defeat that kept Pittsburgh alive in the playoff race. The Bills themselves are arguably the hottest team in the NFL at the moment off the back of impressive victories over the Dallas Cowboys and Los Angeles Chargers after a slow start to the season. With 3 weeks remaining of the NFL regular season, the bottom of the AFC playoff picture is all to play for as the drama heats up with the culmination of the season approaching. National Football Conference, NFC. 3 teams from the NFC have already booked their spot in the playoffs this season. The San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles all have their postseason berths secured with 3 weeks remaining. The 49ers look the strongest bet to wrap up the number 1 seed and home field advantage with a 1-game lead in the standings, and the imperious form they are showing at the moment in contrast to both Dallas and Philadelphia's up-and-down finishes to the year, below the 3 teams already in the postseason. The Detroit Lions currently own the 3rd seed as NFC North leaders with a record of 10-4 as the team enjoys a magical season. And the squad could go one step further shortly as a Week 16 victory would clinch the division title and a guaranteed spot in the playoffs, the first time Detroit would make the postseason since 2016. There is a big drop-off in record between the Lions and the next best franchise. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers currently occupy the 4th seed as NFC South division leaders with a 7-7 record. The Bucs face the 7-8 New Orleans Saints in a critical Week 17 clash on New Year's Eve in Tampa Bay, which could be the decider on who makes it in and who goes home in the NFC South. The Minnesota Vikings and Los Angeles Rams currently occupy the remaining NFC playoff spots but are going in different directions as the end of the season approaches. Quarterback injuries have ravaged the Vikings, who have lost 3 of their last 4, and they now face the Lions twice in the final 3 weeks of the season. The Rams, however, are improving with a young roster led by a veteran quarterback, Matthew Stafford, and after a big Week 16 win against the Saints, LA faces the lowly New York Giants. A playoff spot is well within their grasp. The Seattle Seahawks and the Saints currently sit outside the playoff spots, knowing they need to better the teams above them to reach the postseason. AFC standings after Week 15. 1. Baltimore Ravens 11-3, first in AFC North, clinched playoff spot. 2. Miami Dolphins 10-4, first in AFC East. 3. Kansas City Chiefs 9-5, first in AFC West. 4. Jacksonville Jaguars 8-6, first in AFC South. 5. Cleveland Browns 9-5, second in AFC North. 6. Cincinnati Bengals 8-6, third in AFC North. 7. Indianapolis Colts 8-6, second in AFC South. On the outside. 8. Houston Texans 8-6, third in AFC South. 9. Buffalo Bills 8-6, second in AFC East. NFC standings after Week 15. 1. San Francisco 49ers 11-3, first in NFC West, clinched playoff spot. 2. Dallas Cowboys 10-4, first in NFC East, clinched playoff spot. 3. Detroit Lions 10-4, first in NFC North. 4. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-7, first in NFC South. 5. Philadelphia Eagles 10-4, second in NFC East, clinched playoff spot. 6. Los Angeles Rams 8-7, second in NFC West, played Week 16 game. 7. Minnesota Vikings 7-7, second in NFC North. On the outside. 8. Seattle Seahawks 7-7, third in NFC West. 9. New Orleans Saints 7-8, second in NFC South, played Week 16 game.